Hello gamers. Today we are going to talk about best Halo Infinite PC settings. In this video, we are going to focus on the best Halo Infinite PC settings. That's Halo Infinite multiplayer settings, video settings, display settings, graphics settings, field of view, UI, accessibility settings, and how to get the best performance out of Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite looks set to be the next big release for fans of FPS games. The title is going in a new direction for the series. While the campaign mode will continue the ongoing Halo story, multiplayer has always been a major part of the franchise. From local split screen to being one of the first console online shooters, Halo has defined its honor in places. Their new title is following the lead of games like Fortnite and Warzone, in going free to play. Naturally, this is going to mean a lot more players are taking part in the action when the game fully launches. That means more competition. You're going to need to take every advantage you can get if you want to excel at the Halo Infinite multiplayer. That includes using the best Halo Infinite PC settings in the game to get the best performance possible. Halo Infinite looks to contain some of the most expansive options we've seen in a major FPS title. It is a far cry from Fortnite pro players asking for a simple file slider for years. The game is going to give players the chance to seriously get into detail with how it runs. The in-game settings that you use for an FPS like Halo are vital to determining how the game performs. They can help you get a better FPS, a more responsive reaction time for your inputs, and generally, give you that edge over your competition. This guide covers the options that are available for the best Halo Infinite multiplayer settings. These are the settings that you can use to get a competitive advantage in the game. Which will work perfectly for you will vary though. The exact right settings are going to come partially down to what type of PC you run. A more powerful PC can manage higher settings with good performances. For most PCs though, these are a good starting point for the best Halo Infinite PC settings. These are some recommendations for the best Halo Infinite multiplayer settings. These are a general set of choices, but you can feel free to change things and mix them up, depending on how your PC can manage running the game. If you're using the best gaming PC components, then you'll naturally not need to dial down the performance quite as much. Overall, this build is a good compromise between visual flair and FPS or performance. This set of the best Halo Infinite PC settings can work well for most people. That's Halo Infinite multiplayer settings, video settings, display settings, display monitor, your monitor, borderless full screen, on, resolution scale, 100%, UI resolution scale, 100%, minimum frame rate, 60, maximum frame rate, high as you can manage, VSync, off, limit frame rate on loss of focus, off. Graphics settings. When you're looking for the best settings, the graphics settings are pretty important. Having your graphics quality lower makes it easier to render the image with a high FPS. However, it is important to get a balance between performance and visual quality. Low quality and higher frame rates do not always mean better performance and gameplay. These are some picks for the best Halo Infinite multiplayer PC settings. Anti-aliasing, off. Texture filtering, off. Ambient occlusion, low. Texture quality, medium. Geometry quality, medium. Reflections, off. Depth of field, high. Shadow quality, off. Dynamic lighting, high. Sky quality, high. Dynamic wind, medium. Decorator quality, medium. Effects quality, medium. Decals quality, low. Animation quality, high. Terrain quality, high. Simulation quality, high. Flux quality, medium. Async compute, off. Shader quality, low. Motion blur, off. Screen shake, off. Full screen effects, off. Speed lines, off. Field of view, best Halo Infinite PC settings. The field of view setting is worth considering separately from the rest of the graphics settings. The best Halo Infinite PC settings for the field of view are a bit trickier. It is going to partially depend on what type of monitor you use and what you're comfortable with. Different people have different needs for field of view. If your monitor is big enough, then hitting it up quite a bit can give you a wider view of the game and a bit of an advantage. On a smaller monitor though, or just for some players, it can be more nausea-inducing than anything else. We'd recommend starting with 80 for FOV, then dialing it up as long as you don't get any negative effects. Equally, you can turn it down if it isn't great at that rate. This should be a good starting point, but you'll need to experiment to get it exactly right. UI. The best Halo Infinite PC settings. Bloom, on. Parallax, on. Event timeline, on. Controls, on. FPS counter, on. Network stats, on. Enemy UI color. Something that's easily visible on Move apps works well. Red is a good choice. Friendly UI color. Green would be a natural choice. Accessibility settings. Accessibility settings are a great inclusion in any game, as they allow a wider spread of people to engage fully with the title. Sometimes these settings offer an advantage to other players too, such as colorblind modes that give greater visibility. However, Halo Infinite best PC settings for accessibility so far don't really give any advantage through these settings. The best choice here is to use these settings if they make it easier for you to play the game personally. If you don't need to use them, then otherwise there isn't much needed in this section. Getting the best performance out of Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite is going to be a demanding game, so naturally using the best settings is going to go a bit further to help your performance and improve your experience. Alongside these best Halo Infinite PC settings, you could check out the top Halo Infinite Pro player settings. We'll have more guides as the game's journey progresses to help you perform as well as possible in this new era for Halo. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and press the bell icon.